Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my financial education channel. In today's video, I want to be talking about exactly why I believe property is not only about making money. As much as it is a significant motivator to start out and why you should continue and build a property portfolio, but I don't believe that it's the sole purpose as to why you should be building a property portfolio. There's so many more things that go into it. And if your sole driver is money, you're going to end up taking shortcuts here and there where you shouldn't. So let me break that down to you guys and stay tuned. So let's take it a step back, right? Firstly, an emergency fund. You already have your personal emergency fund. Well, I hope you should. And if you don't, that's something you should definitely be working on at the moment. After having your personal emergency fund, you should have an emergency fund for your property. So if you have one property, have an emergency fund for it in case a tenant doesn't pay their rent, which is why I always take into account rental vacancies as an expense in my property taken out from the rental income on a monthly basis, so that whenever you do have a situation where the tenant is not paying rent, you're not actually in a difficult position that month because you have prepared for it. So make sure that you do have your property buffer, that emergency fund for your property. And on top of that, I believe you should have it for every single property you own. And then in addition to that, still have more funds available for any other investment opportunities or any other ad hoc expenses that might come about, right? So now you have your emergency fund, you have your property emergency fund. Now let's dig deep into why I believe that property is not the sole making money, in property is not the sole reason why you should be investing. Firstly, I believe that we should be aiming to provide decent accommodation, decent housing to people who can't afford to buy a house for whatever reason. Whether they're renting because they're a student, whether it's a family that's renting, a young professional, I believe that everyone does deserve the opportunity to live in a decent environment, right? Obviously, other places depends on the rent and the area in terms of what is decent to you and what is decent to me. But I definitely believe that everyone should have a working toilet, a working shower, bathtubs, the basics. Everyone should have the basics. And as property investors, our aim should not be to take shortcuts and cheat people and try to maximize our profits that way, because when you do that and you take shortcuts, it's going to lead to an unhappy tenant. And an unhappy tenant can be a tenant who ups and leaves without giving you notice, can be a tenant who just decides I'm not going to pay. And it's also going to lead to you having more repairs and maintenance on your property because you decided to take cheaper materials and shortcuts where you shouldn't have done that. Not to even mention that some of the shortcuts you might take might be illegal and against the law. So that might present a completely different problem for you. So just be a good landlord, be a good property investor, provide good accommodation to whoever your tenants are, and treat them well, treat them like human beings. You are also a human being, and I'm sure you want to be treated like that, so let's do the same, right? Secondly, it's something that you should be aiming to leave behind as a legacy for your children, your grandchildren, setting them up with something. A lot of people were not set up with many things, and if you were, I hope you recognize that you are in a privileged position. And many people were not, though. Many people weren't left a house to live in, weren't left properties, a trust, and all these things. And this is what I believe is another reason that should be motivating you to invest in property, because it is an asset that you can leave behind for your children. Your children can benefit from those rental incomes in a situation where they don't have a job, in a situation where for whatever reason, actually maybe they don't even want to get a job and they actually start getting interested in property and just want to grow whatever you left behind for them. And that's a really good line of thinking in terms of someone who wants to build a legacy, who wants to leave something behind for their family and change the situation at home for generations to come, and not for yourself in the immediate. So those are my top 2 reasons. Today's video is very brief. I hope you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Cheers.